This is going to be Ragefire Chasm as a Guardian Druid. It's a new character here. Natalier, my Druid. Let's see what it's like to be a bear. Haven't had a tank perspective on this yet, so let's do it now. Level 23. What did I do with her before this? I think I chose a random dungeon first and got Wailing Caverns, so that was her first experience as a bear. Figured out my buttons and what to do with them. Alright, so on the action bar I have Mangle on number 1. That's a single target, medium attack, moderate cooldown, and it generates rage. So just like a warrior, bear uses rage as a resource. Number 2 is Maul. That's my rage dump. Costs 40 rage and does heavy damage on one target. 3 is Moonfire. I'm using that a bunch. That's my ranged attack. Deals a little bit of instant damage and applies ticking additional damage over time. So if I can get that ticking on everybody I'm fighting, it's a good little extra source of damage and threats. And number 4 is Thrash. I used it way too early there when I was out of range. It does damage to everything around, both instant and more over time, stacking up to 3 times. So during the course of a fight, even on single target, I do want to Thrash. 5 is Iron Fur. That's my active mitigation. It costs about the same amount of rage as Maul, and I've found that I basically, in a normal rotation, I can do 4 actions. So I'll get a Maul, a Moonfire, a Thrash, a Mangle, a Moonfire, a Thrash, and either a Maul or an Iron Fur. So if I can afford to do extra damage, I'll do the Maul. If I need to take less damage, then I'll do the Iron Fur. Iron Fur is usually preferred, because bears are kind of fragile. Like, look how low my health bar is already. Sounds like we have a Holy Priest here. Those are priest noises, and I'm seeing no power word shield, so not discipline. So Holy Priest healer, what are the other 2? Looks like Hunter and Rogue and something. What's that third one down in the bottom? Arcane Mage. Oh boy, always an Arcane Mage in like every group. Anyway, yeah, so other stuff. 0 is Growl, it's a pretty standard taunt. 9 is Bull Rush. That's a High Mountain Tauren racial ability that just dashes forward a little bit. It's a nice little mobility upgrade. And then minus is Dash, which puts me into cat form, which doesn't have the armor and threat generation of bear form, so I don't want to use it in combat, but it puts me into cat form and boosts my speed. So I have a lot of ways to get around quickly. So, Guardian Druid. Not really my favorite thing to play so far. It gets another ability at level 32 called Swipe, which seems like it's going to fill in a lot of dead space in my normal rotation. So it might be a little nicer once I get that, but this particular character is level 30 at the time of this recording, and done a bunch of dungeons as a Guardian and a few as healer. I don't know, Druid just so far doesn't really click with me as a class. Gonna keep working at it and learn to play it. Get used to it, figure out what to do. But yeah, often when I'm playing this, I just feel like I'd rather be playing something else. I'm hoping it'll get better later. Yeah, Swipe seems like it'll make a lot of difference because the way okay, there's Dash. Yep. Have to actively switch back to bear form though when I'm ready to actually attack something. So the way that rage generation ends up working out is that I can basically sit there and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, just over and over. I'll generate just enough rage for 1 usage of Maul, or Iron Fur if I decide to do that instead. Mangle and Thrash have the same cooldown on them, and it is the length of 4 global cooldowns. So, you get a Mangle, you get a Thrash, then you get 2 other actions, then you get another Mangle, then you get another Thrash, basically. As far as I can tell, it does seem like I always want to use those when they're up. Moonfire is my filler that I can just use as many times as I want whenever. It doesn't feel great to just hit it over and over, but it does a marginal amount of damage instantly. So it's not something I necessarily want to just apply once and leave there forever while I do other actions, because I just don't have other actions to do. Might as well fill that empty space, like right now, with Moonfires. Sometimes I don't bother, but you know, I like to be able to press a button every time my global cooldown is up. And yeah, I think Swipe is probably going to smooth that out. So I think Swipe is just an ability you can use pretty much whenever, which hits everything right in front of you. I don't know, I forget what the description is, but I'll have it in a couple of levels. Yeah, so, Druid strengths. Shapeshifts can do some cool stuff, you know, I have a lot of mobility, I can dash around, I can technically heal a little bit, but I have to pop out of bear form to do it, and that doesn't seem like a great idea. I'll get an in-battle resurrection spell at some point, so I can bring somebody back if they die mid-combat. Shapeshifts can apparently just shrug off polymorph effects, so if I get turned into a sheep, then I can just turn right back into a bear again. Or maybe the polymorph doesn't even land? I'm not sure yet. So, you know, they do some things well, but things they don't do so well is survive. Apparently there's not much mitigation against magic damage, because Iron Fur is just physical. It gives me armor, so reduces physical damage by about 10% for 7 seconds. And I get another ability later called Bark Skin, which is a secondary active mitigation. I think it reduces all damage by 20% for some amount of time. Other than that, though, I mean, just the core rotation doesn't feel great to me. Again, I'm hoping Swipe will save it, but, you know, up to level 31, it's okay, but I'd rather play any other tank, really. I'll talk about healing when I get to healing. It's also not my favorite healer. So yeah, I'm just not sure what to do with my Druid. I play her to learn her, but, you know, kind of rather be playing anything else. I hear they're very good, especially as healers at the higher levels. And I want to learn just to understand. Could also try Balance and Feral, I guess. Yeah, Druid is the one class that gets 4 different specializations. So you can be kind of a protection warrior, you can be kind of a rogue, you can be kind of a mage, and you can be kind of a, well, some kind of a healer. I hear Balance is also extremely good, so I should try it at some point. I don't know, I just don't tend to play the damage dealer option on any class that can be a tank or a healer, though. Maybe I should do it more. It just doesn't really happen much because, you know, dungeon queue times are longer and, I don't know, damage is the least interesting role for me. But maybe I would love playing a balanced druid or a feral druid. I'll have to try it at some point. I want to understand everything, so that's something I should work to understand, I guess. Well, my initial threat generation didn't go so well. I have Growl. Oh wait, this dude can just decide to target other players, so if he's targeting somebody else, that doesn't necessarily mean I lost threats. I wonder how this Holy Priest is getting on. His mana bar's full. He's keeping me full enough. Man, those are some big heals he's landing. Holy Priest, another thing I have not really tried yet. Alright, so Ragefire Chasm, always quick and simple. There's not much you can really do to make it go wrong if you know the basics of playing the game, which is pretty good because it is kind of the introductory dungeon. I leveled up. That happens a lot at low levels. The first few levels go extremely quickly. Alright, that's Ragefire Chasm, that's a Guardian Druid. I'll see you again in this character sometime, in both this role and others. Yeah, and I'll give more impressions then, I guess.